I know where there's some, right here in the hall, clerk.
No, Molly, I have
Hello and welcome back to part something of the Continental Model M500 radio. My apologies for not posting videos for a while. We had a death in the family. Had to take care of that. And this little radio, the case cleaned up pretty nicely. I'll give it that. The case is fine. It's all there. You know, when you get a project this size, after tackling that Zenith large chassis, then you get something like this, and you say, well, that should be easy. This is tough. This thing is giving me grief. A couple of issues. Well, let me go through the progress rather. First thing, I needed power, so I made a box. Then I started assembling a battery pack to go in the box, which is here. And that's all peachy keen. Goes like that, actually. Then I had to find this connector, because this connector is what matches up with the connector that's on the radio for battery power. And then I had to make a sleeve to go around that to hold it all together inside the box. Got that pretty much done. And you may recall that the antenna, graphite rod on the antenna had broken right here. I was fixing it, then I dropped it and broke it into a whole bunch of pieces I could no way fit back together in a reasonable way. So I ended up having to get a new rod for it. The glue that I found, the epoxy, the conductive epoxy, really holds graphite nicely. But you know, my pondering numbers to see what the, you know, this was, what did I say? It was 0.8 ohms, 0.21 millihenries without the rod in, 0.27 with, blah, 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 grand experiment, all right down the dumper, because this isn't the same. I moved when I was working on this and evening up the end. I moved this coil of wire and changed its characteristics quite a bit. So that's one thing. It's not even, well, how close is it? I've looked at this in a while, so I don't remember much about what it was, what its measurements were, but we'll find out right now. According to this box. 2.5 ohms, 0.21 millihenries. So the inductance is stayed about the same. The resistance within this coil has changed quite a bit. For better or worse, I don't know. I guess we'll find out if it all goes back together, or if and when it all goes back together. So that's been a hassle. Broke that. Then I got to the part where you start to apply power, and there was I got this all connected up so that I was getting 60, what is it, 67 and a half, whatever it is, volts into here, power switch, and nothing out the other side. So, you know, one of the things I always do is try to run through and make sure that power will go once it's applied. And I failed to do that in this case. This power switch is all shot or gummed up, as is the volume pot. This thing reads open mostly, except in one spot. So it's got a layer of whatever in there. So that is preventing power from getting where it needs to get to. The second thing that's preventing power from getting where it needs to is this little gizmo right here. And I don't know if you remember this. I wasn't sure what it was at first. Then I read that it's actually for a place for headphones to plug in. And when you do plug in headphones here, it pushes this bar down and changes a contact on here so that you're no longer providing power to the output tube, the 3S4 output tube. Since you're running to headphones, you don't need to power this thing and drain your battery any faster than it already is draining. So I got to poking around in there, and there's something wrong with that switch. It's gummed up and not carrying a load like it's supposed to either. So the only progress I've made recently on this thing is getting the glue scraped off there and replacing the single electrolytic cap right here. Otherwise, I've just run into so many roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. Things that should have been easy aren't. So I've clearly approached this project with a degree of arrogance I certainly should not have, and it needs to be treated like it's a serious piece of effort. The other thing too was these old lines from the output transformer were all cracked and corroded and touching each other. So that had to be fixed. So it's been, for such a little package, it's been a real pain in the neck. But I thought I'd catch you up on where I am. The first thing I need to do, well, there are two things. One is take this apart and see what's corroding. My suspicion is it's all corroded inside this little. It's just a couple of spring switches, and I bet it's all corroded, like this battery terminal is right here. And then I've got to pop this potentiometer and power switch part and get that cleaned up and see if I can restore it into some kind of working order. So that's what's going to happen this time. I'll work on those two things. Stand by.